Hi everyone.
Hi guys.
How are you doing? We're back in our loft, and we wanted to talk to you about something.
Yeah.
Are you feeling pale?
Yeah, I feel a bit under the. Should we just take this off? This
is weird. I feel. Oh, okay. We can breathe.
Just gonna check my hair. So what
happened there?
We are wearing these masks because we were sent them. So we were. Oh, I've got
just the mask, or did we get some perfume as well to try?
Masks. A funny thing happened the other day. I received a package. I mean, I received quite a lot of packages of perfume, so that's not that surprising. But this is one I didn't expect to get. I thought, oh God, have I ordered something? What have I done? What have I bought? Something.
Oh no, I've bought some Roger Dove in the middle of the night without realising.
It's something that came from New York State. I thought, what on earth is it? Anyway, so I opened this box, which had these two masks on, and there was a box of perfume which said Anonim on it. Before I talk about the fragrances themselves, I also had this little letter that came in an envelope. Kind of felt a bit like I was, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I kind of got a golden ticket.
It's all very mysterious, isn't it?
It's quite mysterious. I think I was quite excited. Also, just a little bit worried, wondering where this came from, who they got, how they got my address. So they are.
We have no clue, do we?
We don't know.
Trying to figure it out.
We were sent 3 fragrances to try from this new brand called Anonim, which is anonymous. That's the whole point, I suppose. We don't know who the perfumer is.
No.
So we have no previous form, no kind of preconceptions, no prejudice.
Yeah, it's quite nice, isn't it? Because we often have little expectations of what it might be or the style of who did it. I
mean, I think actually it's quite a cool idea. I think it's obviously it's a bit of a gimmick.
Yeah.
It's a bit of fun to kind of get people talking. We've got these funny masks. We're saying actually, but these masks, they don't have any nose holes. You can't smell.
Yeah, I mean that's a design flaw, but it has eye holes at least, so we're not walking into shit.
These 3 fragrances are based on Ambergris, 3 different grades of Ambergris. So Ambergris is something we've kind of talked about a little bit.
Yeah, it's been in a few compositions that we've enjoyed, hasn't it?
It's used a lot. It's been used historically for hundreds of years, I think, in perfumery. Often as a kind of fixative to give a kind of base to things. We've smelt ambergris in a few forms. When we did our kind of materials video with Sarah McCartney, she had a big hunk of ambergris itself there, as well as a tincture. And
that's something we should have discussed when we were there last time, but anyway, that's another thing. Because that's an interesting note in a perfume, isn't it?
It really is.
It does change things.
The first time I smelt it, it's on lots of notes lists. It's in all the creeds. It says they use real ambergris. But the first time I was ever really aware of it, and it's something I still think now, is Ambra Aurea. By Perfumer Roma.
Good stuff.
Which is amazing quality stuff. But towards the end, it has this kind of slightly animalic, warm, dry, slightly kind of saltiness.
Yeah.
It's an interesting note, and I think when it's used in large quantities like that, it's not mass appealing, because I know some people don't like that quality in Amber. They say it goes a bit weird and dry. The other fragrances, I noticed it in some of the Bortnikovs.
Yes.
Again, which are incredibly high, like the highest.
I mean, that's the real stuff there. That's.
And for instance, Sir Winston, which is one of the ones, which was quite a recent release, I bought a bottle of it, and I wasn't so aware of the ambergris to start with, because it's got those big kind of juicy florals and that kind of tobacco leaf. But in the dry down, it goes to this very salty, kind of dry animalic quality.
Nice.
And so I think it's an interesting ingredient. When it's used a lot, it's not necessarily mass appealing. Anyway, back to these fragrances.
So we've got a sort of rundown of the ideas of these.
He sent us this letter. So a well-known perfumer launched the brand Anonim. So I don't know who it is.
I'm trying to think as well. Does the perfumer live in New York State, or has the person that sent it just got it and sent it on?
Yeah, it could be. But also, I mean, who's to say whether they are? He refers to himself as he, so it is a he. But he
could
says,
be anyone.
Do you want to find out? Let's don our masks and play this lovely game together. So we will. We're not going to
put our masks on, and we didn't find out. I still don't know.
Yeah, he says he's a well-known perfumer. It doesn't necessarily mean he is.
Yeah, that could be a little sort of slight to trick people.
So 3 fragrances.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's smell them and see what we've got.
So
I'm very excited. I've not smelled these.
This presentation box, I've had these for a couple of weeks now. I've worn them a few times, but Joe is going to try them out. Here they are. So they're black, silver. I'm going to try and show you without them kind of falling out. Black, silver, and gold, they are called. And they're referring to different grades of ambergris. Although I was discussing this with Joe earlier, I've always thought of it more like black, grey, and white.
Yeah.
So when ambergris
That's what I've always
first
thought. Yeah.
pops out the back end of a whale, if you have young ambergris, it tends to be kind of black and kind of tarry, and then the longer it spends in the sea, bobbing around in the sunshine and being affected by the sea, it becomes kind of paler and paler. So the kind of the cheaper, the newer stuff is black, and then it goes to a kind of grey, and the really, really sought after stuff, which has been going around in the sea for ages, is white. Here they've referred to them as black, silver, and gold. I guess it makes it.
And maybe that's part of the marketing as well, with the sort of the caps mimicking that.
So these are what the bottles look like. When I said to Joe, when you first open the box, you think that the bottles look quite nice. They're quite nice in this presentation. Or I should just mention the price. These three, if you get them as a set, they are $450 for all three. 3 times 30 mil, or individually there are $140, $160, $180. That's black, silver, gold. So yeah, anyway, the bottles, they look quite nice at a distance, but as you get close up, they're a little bit rough around the edges. You can see it's been put into some kind of mould to kind of form the shape, and it's got a number 3 on the bottom, and the caps are a little bit flimsy. They're not, I mean, given the price, given it's $140, so we're talking more than imaginary authors.
Yeah. They're sort of in that 90 mark.
I don't think the kind of caps and things are as nice as imaginary authors. So anyway,
maybe these are prototypes for something.
Possibly.
Although the brand is already out, isn't it? It's not like this
is. These are available on
It's not a
Lucky
work in
Scent.
development.
So as one was sending them out to people, they've released them on Lucky Scent. So
they're so lucky to have Lucky Scent. I know I say this all the time, but I looked on the website the other day, and they have every single perfume ever made.
So Joe hasn't smelt these. What do you
Except
think?
Nombre Noir,
I've also
which you can't get anywhere.
The sprayer on this one is really bad.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Let me have another go. Yeah.
It's like it's been up at Wales.
Yeah, this sprayer is really not great.
So it does. Maybe it's so potent that it does one spray and then
that's all you need. Anyway, I've managed a few there.
Good. Let's see what we've got here. Okay. So this is black.
Yeah, this is black.
Black ambergris.
And he says, those who have experienced black ambergris attest that the perfume has flawlessly evoked a lounge ambience, and this works in warm, lingering night, tranquil serenity, elegant cocktails, blah, 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 blah. That's a bit ridiculous, that stuff.
Yeah, a sort of very pleasant coffee-ish chocolate sort of thing.
I've got to say,
familiar for sure.
Yeah, when I experienced these in reverse order. I tried gold first, and we'll get to gold in a minute. But when I smelt black off the cap, I thought, this smells very familiar. You know, it feels like something I've come across before. It feels like a kind of clubby, designery fragrance to me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, disagree with me if you.
No, I totally agree. I mean, the first thing that struck me though was that coffee espresso thing.
Yeah.
Which reminded me a little bit of something like Burning Ben from Strangers.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
But I mean, that's more sweet. As in, this is more sweet.
This is more sweet, yeah.
It seems a little bit in that mould of 1 million and that kind of thing.
A little bit.
Kind of quite dense.
It's quite, it's quite pleasant. I found this to be quite long lasting and quite a kind of big fragrance on me. I just didn't find it very. There was kind of nothing kind of wow. As I say, one of these fragrances did get my interest. This isn't one of them really.
It's not terrible at all, is it? I mean, it's very nice, and I think it's certainly a lot more interesting than a lot of the stuff that's out there in the mainstream. But it is still, it is still a very familiar sort of tune. It's slight headache inducing. Actually, I know that's.
To me, it feels like a clubbing scent.
Yeah.
It's quite big and bold. Like, it's quite nice. This kind of chocolatey, slightly resinous, slightly incensey. When I wore this, I tried it. All of these I tested for a couple of days on skin to see how it kind of developed. I really didn't get much feel of any ambergris
No.
At all. So that's
I need to wear it on skin, but still, I'm not getting.
The perfumers claim to use real ambergris. I don't know. That could be true. That could be not true. But I can't honestly say I detect much ambergris in this. And I felt that this slightly, not completely one-dimensional, but it didn't feel like it kind of evolved loads.
No, it's one of those perfumes that I think you can smell at the start is going to stay. It's quite linear. It's quite
big and punchy.
Yeah, it sort of does its thing for as long as it stays. I do like it.
It's not terrible, but
no, I've smelt far worse, and I think it's probably nicely put together. It's just it doesn't make me think, oh wow.
I mean, I wouldn't buy it.
That's something different. No, I don't think I would.
I wouldn't.
I would wear it. If I had it there on the shelf and it was a cold day, I think, okay, I'm going to put a bit of this on today. But it gives me that very Middle Eastern,
but I've got
dark, heavy, resinous.
I think I've got other things.
24 gold aspect.
I've got other things which are cheaper, which do it better.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to silver.
Silver.
Here we go. The atomizer a little bit better.
Yeah.
Still not great.
Maybe the whole everything increases on the way up to the gold.
Yeah.
Atomizer and everything. Oh no, that's more interesting.
So this captures the atmosphere of a deserted island, gleaming and sparkling amidst warm ocean heated by the midday sun.
Now I like this a lot more. It's a slightly peppery fougere.
Yeah, I find like it's a very kind of citrusy fougere. I find I got like neroli or even petitgrain. Yeah. I feel like there's a kind of an oily
big grapefruity something in there as well.
It's quite juicy and fruity in the opening.
Yeah.
It's real kind of night. Sorry, it's real day to the night we had before.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. That sort of piques my interest. That reminds me a little bit of an MDCI fragrance I tried once.
What was that?
It's like a barber shoppy thing. Not.
No.
Barber of Tangier.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Just the idea of that slightly oily citrus fougere.
I find it's
not the same thing at all.
It's got quite a nice kind of. It's a slightly green quality to the citrus. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's whenever I feel like there's a kind of green, oily citrus, I tend to think of petitgrain. I don't know if it is petitgrain. And
I quite appreciate that.
There's also a kind of neroli-like floral quality to it.
Yeah.
And I can see this kind of desert island thing. And then as this, I did find this quite a long-lasting fragrance, given that it's a citrus kind of fougere fragrance. It did last quite well, and it became increasingly woody. And unlike the other one, this was one where I was aware of the ambergris from about 45 minutes in. I got that slight saltiness. It never became kind of funky. Certainly this is not animalic at all, but that slight salty, dry warmth that you get from ambergris.
Yeah. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I still don't love it. I mean, if you think that's $160.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it? And it has been done. It has been done before, but it's nice. I appreciate this a lot more than the black.
Yeah, it's pleasant, but
for $160, is it something that I'm going to go out and seek?
I just think, given what is out there, and what you could spend $160 on, I don't think I couldn't advise people to buy this at all.
No, I mean it is nice. It is nice, but it's not.
It's pleasant.
It's not wowing, is it? Because I mean, I'm smelling it, and I'm working off the price point of a kind of middle-range designer.
Yeah.
Of sort of good quality.
Yeah, I mean, I think it feels like. I mean, I feel the first one
slightly less synthetic than the black.
I mean, the first one feels like it's nowhere near the same ballpark as Black Orchid.
No.
The second one is kind of fine, but I'm sure you could get something for like 30-40 quid in the market.
Yeah.
It just doesn't blow me away. Right.
So we've got We've sort of increased in terms of interest, haven't we? So I'm hoping
a little bit. I've got to say,
gold is doing something special.
Yeah. So the way I tried this, obviously, I saw the price point, and obviously I tried the most expensive one first.
A bit of a leaky bottle as well?
A little bit, yeah. It's a bit. The cap's got quite wet, and around the collar has gone quite wet as well. So the seal isn't quite there. Anyway,
I've had a few perfumes do that, and it's really annoying. That's way more interesting.
See, so my experience was when I opened this, I went for the most expensive one, and I had to go out. You know, I was quite excited about this box, read everything, and I just sprayed this gold, and I thought, wow, if all of them are as interesting, as bold as this, then we're in for a treat. Because this is this amazing. Basically, it's this very funky animalic fragrance. So I got this amazing orrisy leather, and I was reminded a little bit of Knees 10. You know,
a little bit, yeah.
A little bit in that kind of, and there are a few fragrances where I feel a leather accord is created by orris, and I don't think it necessarily smells leathery, but it's certainly just the way that orris.
I get like an orris bubblegum leather.
Yeah, but that's a
little bubblegummy sweetness.
I often think of that bubblegummy sweetness with Knees 10. And I don't know.
I like that a lot. I think
this is one really on good. Skin where I found it really, really quite funky for the first half hour. Really, you don't get it quite so much from card. Do you want to try a bit on skin?
Do you know what I'm getting a little bit, which is interesting?
Do you want to go on skin?
Yeah, I'm getting a slight violety, gasoline-y sort of thing.
Yeah, there's a little bit of petrol. I can't remember what they say the notes are. It says leather, orris, sandalwood, spice, and white straight gold ambergris.
It's all more funky on there straight away, isn't it?
Yeah, but you definitely get that kind of petrol-y, almost like an old Fahrenheit. It doesn't smell quite like Fahrenheit, but with that kind of petrol-y vibe. But I found, as I wore it, it really was quite funky. And I remember I had to run for a train.
Oh yeah.
I got quite hot, and it was really quite.
And you smelled of poo on the train.
And I almost wondered if there was a little bit of civet or something in there just to kind of funk up that.
Do you know, I've smelled in Bloom. I think it was from the guy that did Dodo. What was his name? Joseph Delap?
Yeah. From Rising Phoenix.
I think he'd sent some ambergris and also some deer musk, which is something else. But I remember this really quite pungent, like kind of salty, animalic fecal thing.
But it really feels that this is about the ambergris, and he's tried to maybe use the orris to create a leather effect to kind of emphasise it, and there's a bit of sandalwood to emphasise the kind of warmth and creaminess of it. But it really feels that gold is about ambergris.
Yeah, no, that's a good fragrance.
And the thing which excited me is, and then again I smelt the first one, I thought, wow, this is interesting. This person is not trying to be mass appealing. They are really trying to take this well-known, because ambergris is reasonably well-known as an ingredient, and kind of put it at the fore, unashamedly. And I don't think this is going to appeal to lots of people. Let me smell it on you again.
But very, sort of very subtle as well with it. It's quite closed, and it's like it's just sort of brooding and getting slightly dirty and slightly.
Well, I found
slightly sort of human skin like.
Yeah, and I think that's the way it works with the orris as well. But when I wore it, I found after about 40 minutes, it kind of got escalated in funkiness, but then that funk kind of stepped back, and then I was more aware of ambergris as I knew it from something like Amber Aurea, when you get this warm kind of aura, slightly salty, slightly kind of dry.
Slightly jizzy. A little bit.
It's a little bit jizzy, yeah. But I found this really interesting.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I like that a lot. Yeah. That would pique my interest. I think if they could maintain that level of quality in the others, but I've not worn them on skin, which I should try. But I think that's got something about it that intrigues me, and it makes me want to find other notes, and it wants me.
I almost wonder. I'm just guessing.
Get that slight thing in there again.
That the perfumer came up with this first. I thought, yes, this is an interesting ambergris fragrance. And then I thought, well, I can't just release this on its own because most people won't like this. So I'll do a freshie and a night fragrance as well to go with it, and we'll call it a trio.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea, really. I can see what he's doing. Yeah.
I like it.
I get slightly like damp linen as well.
Yeah, or there is a slight kind of musty.
But not clean linen,
like mould.
Yeah, like you've just left it in the washer for slightly too long.
Mildewy, yeah.
And it's come out, but I kind of still find it appealing because I know I'm going to have some sort of clean shirt. That's really interesting.
Yeah,
I like that.
It is interesting, and yeah, as I say, I think for most people, if you wear it, you will find the first half an hour or so really quite funky, maybe a little bit challenging, but it does soften a bit after that. But this is not for your faint-hearted. I've spent most of my time with Breeze. This is people who are interested in animalic fragrances, in ambergris, what ambergris actually smells like. So.
Far different than I expected. I really appreciate that, and I like the other two. I do think they're good fragrances.
That's silver.
Yeah, I think it's getting more interesting.
It's fine. It's fine.
And that coffee chocolate thing is familiar. I mean, I would put a couple of sprays on of that on a really, really cold day to give me a warm glow of something. Perfectly nice, but at the price point,
I don't think this is a $140 fragrance. So there we go. So we've still got absolutely no idea who this is by.
But if we wear these enough, then we'll figure it out, won't we?
We'll put it in the video. So yeah, we don't know who it's by. I don't know if you can hear us if we do this.
Hello?
I don't know who it's by, so maybe you do. If you've got any...
This is what it's like to not be able to smell.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It really isn't suitable, is it? Nothing, absolutely nothing. But anyway, if you have tried these, let us know what you think. If you think you know who it is, or we've got so many ideas, or if you think it's all a terrible idea and you hate it.
Maybe it's us.
Yeah, maybe it's us.
We would remember.
But until next time, make sure you take your masks off so that you can have happy sniffing.
Bye.